Hey, it's Marko here from Fair Realty. Today I'm talking about past sales history on Realtor.ca. So if you've been on Realtor.ca in the last 6 months, you've probably noticed a new feature where you can see the past MLS sales history for that particular property going back 10 years or the last 3 sales. And MLS data has been a very contentious issue in Canada for decades. Basically, the real estate industry has always tried to protect the MLS data. I think the reason behind that is they want the consumer to come to real estate professionals to seek that data and the services of that real estate professional, versus the consumer wants the MLS data opened up so they don't have to use the services of a real estate agent to gain access to that data. And this has gone to court even, for example, with Toronto Real Estate Board, and the Competition Bureau was involved. You know, should the data be opened up to the consumer? Should it not? Etc. Personally, I've always believed that as an industry, we should open up the MLS data to the consumer, because as a realtor, personally, I feel like I can offer services to my clients beyond just the MLS data. I spend a decent portion of my time emailing my clients sales history and just MLS data, versus if my clients had access to that MLS data openly, then I wouldn't spend that time. I can offer my clients other services I feel are tangible, and I still feel my clients would come to me even if they had access to all the data I have, because they value the other services I can provide in a real estate transaction, versus I think the industry feels more along the lines of, if we can protect that data as an industry, the consumer has more incentive to use real estate professionals. Nonetheless, a lot of these court cases have been lost in terms of things are leaning more towards the MLS data being opened up to the public, and that's why you have this feature on Realtor.ca that gives the past sales history. I always thought the consumer was 100% for this, but there is one interesting phenomenon I'm seeing on the ground. I've now had 10 sellers complain when I've listed their properties about the sales history of their property being displayed on Realtor.ca. Why? Because we've seen, especially in Victoria, price appreciation over the last 10 years. So a lot of the times I'm listing properties, let's say for $900,000, and my seller paid 3 or 4 years ago $625, let's say in 2019. So my seller feels like their negotiating position is compromised because the buyer can see right away on Realtor.ca that the seller paid way less only 3 or 4 years ago. Even though the buyer would have got that information from the buyer's agent, my sellers simply do not like the fact that the sales history of their property is exposed on Realtor.ca. And sometimes the property's changed hands 3 times in the last 10 years, so you can see those last 3 sales. And obviously the seller is not going to like that, because they might perceive that the buyer might feel like there's an issue with the property if it keeps changing hands. So my thoughts were always, well, everyone in terms of the consumer wants this data opened up, but now that it's starting to be opened up, and I think more of this MLS data is going to be opened up, it's interesting. Not all the consumers would appear to want this data publicly available, depending on the position they are in. I'm sure buyers want the data opened up, but now sellers, when they think about it and they see their listing on Realtor.ca and they see the past sales history, they're thinking, yeah, I don't really like this actually. Can we do anything about this? And no, we can't. Things are trending in towards all the MLS data being opened up to the public, and this is essentially phase 1 of that. That's it for this week. Marko, Juras, Fair Realty.